everyone, you're welcome to Kharis Kreations. I'm Simeon. Okay, so we are having a beautiful tutorial today. It's a bootcut trouser. I used the velvet material to make mine, but you can use any material of your choice. Ankara fabric, you can go with lace fabric. Just go on with any fabric of your choice. If this is your first time on our channel, you need to click the subscribe button. Remember to turn on your notification bell to get notified each time I upload a new video here on Kharis Kreations. Our measurements are going to be needing are the length. We need the waist measurements, the hip measurements, the upper thigh, and the lower thigh. So let's move to the cutting table. Welcome to class. First, we're going to list out our measurements, and I am going to work with the length of 36 inches. We need our waist measurements. Mine is 28. The hip measurements 36. We need the upper thigh. The upper thigh measurement is taken where your legs have been separated. I have my upper thigh 22, lower thigh maybe around your knee, that's 18, and the ankle can be as wide as you want. That's your choice. So the length, I am going to add 2 inches to make it 38. So the 2 inches will be used to fold at the base. Now to the waist, which is the circumference measurement, the waist and the hip, I'm going to add 4 inches and divide by 4. It's still the same as your waist and hip measurements plus your waist and hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1. You get the same answer. Now the upper thigh and the lower thigh, it's one leg. There are 2 legs, so each leg separately, that will be plus 2 divided by 2. Well, we need to get the crotch length. To get the crotch length, we use the hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1. That's the standard measurement. If you want to get the crotch length, just calculate your hip divided by 4 plus 1. Now, to fold your pattern or your fabric, we are going to use the hip measurement, which is now 10 inches. Plus ease. The ease is what helps you to separate, to move your leg. You want to jump and all that. Now there are different measurements. You can go with 3, you can go with 3.5 or 4 depending on the size. So mine is 3.5. So 10 plus 3.5 will give us 13.5. That's the folding. Since I'm using a pattern, that's a pattern paper, I do not need to fold. All right, I do not need to fold. But if you are drafting on a fabric, you can just fold your 13.5. Now, because the trouser is going to have a band on the waist, we are going to minus 2 inches because we'll still return the band of 2 inches. But now, because of our seam allowance, I'll make it minus 1.5. So first is the crotch length. So mark out your crotch length, whatever your measurement is. We are still going to maintain our minus 1.5. So we take the length, which is now 38. If you really want it to flow, you can add to it. You can make it 39, you can make it 40, depending on how much you want it to flow at the base. That's at the base. You want it to sweep the floor, you can add maybe 1 or 2 inches. So I am adding just 1 inch to mine, to the initial length. So it's now 39 inches. So like I said, you can decide to fold and you can decide to leave it that way. Now, if you're folding your pattern, you are going to add extra 3 inches to the folding. Take for instance, our measurement is 13.5. So if I'm going to fold, I'll fold 16.5 inches and I'll hide the 3 inches. I am adding extra 3 inches behind my pattern. We're going to see the reason for that very soon. So if you're going to be folding, it will be 16.5, and make sure you hide the 3 inches so that your measurement falls back to your normal 13.5. But if you're using a pattern, just go ahead and do the exactly what I'm doing. Just take your 3 inches first, rule it out so that all your measurements will start from that line. Just measure the 3 inches, your measurement start from the line. Now at the top, we are going to go with the measurement of the hip, which is 10 inches. All your measurements should start from the line now. So we're going to measure the 10 inches. It continues 10 inches. Then on the crotch point, this is where the his takes effect. So it is now 13.5. On your crotch point, it is 13.5. Now the 13.5, I need to take it all the way to the base and get the midpoint. The midpoint is what we are concerned about. So the midpoint of 13.5, that's 13.5 divided by 2, that's about 6.75. So I am going to measure the 6.75. I am measuring from that same line, 6.75, or better still, just place your 13.5, then locate your 6.75 and mark it out. Now we'll go to the upper thigh, which is below, like 2 inches below the crotch point. The upper thigh now is 12 inches. 12 inches. So the midpoint of 12 is 6. So what I'm going to do is locate my 12 at the front and at the base, then get the midpoint of 6 inches. You can as well get the distance between your upper thigh and lower thigh. Lower thigh is 10 inches. So the midpoint of 10 inches is 5. So just mark out your 10 inches first at the front and at the back. Now the base is it depends on your choice, and since 13.5 is the measurement from the top, so I still continue with my 13.5 at the base. If you want to use the upper thigh measurement, which is 12, you can still go ahead with the 12 inches. Now from the 12 inches, you measure your 3 inches backward and your 3 inches to the front. I'll take that again. The measurement that I'm using here is the upper thigh, which is 12. It depends on your choice, depending on how wide you want it. So the midpoint of 12 is 6 inches. So mark out the 12 inches, then connect 3 inches to the back and 3 inches forward. So connect your points now. Now I'm connecting from the crotch point to the upper thigh, then lower thigh, then to the base. The same way I'm going to connect from the crotch and then form my line. Here you can first bring out an L shape. You draft out your L shape just like this. Then from that point, that corner, you measure 1.5 inches so that you can get your curve properly. Okay, to the other side now, we'll connect the upper thigh, lower thigh, and of course to the base, and then we'll connect to the hip just like this. Now the next thing to do is to measure the waist, and the waist measurement is 8 inches. The 8 inches now is going to start from the crotch line. So I'm going to measure from the front and measure to wherever your 8 inches stops. Measure from the front to where your 8 inches stops, then connect to the hip like this. I guess we are done cutting out. Measuring. So now we can cut it out. Now, whatever you have on your pattern, all you need to do is place it on your fabric and cut whatever you have on the pattern exactly the same. The front has been done. Then we move to the back. For the back, we're going to take 1.5 inches here at the crotch area is 1.5. Then you connect it to the waist, to the normal waist measurement, what you have on the pattern. So it's going to give you a slant shape. Then on the crotch area, it is 1 inch. Measure your 1 inch and find your way back after the upper thigh. So we can cut it out like this. Now the back is ready. I am cutting out the flounce now. I am taking 3 inches. Just get a point, then measure out 3 inches round. If you want me to make a tutorial on how to cut flounce, there are different types of flounce that you can add on your skirts, on your dress. If you want me to make a tutorial of how to cut a flounce properly, you can leave that in the comment section. This is just 3 inches round from the point. You do not necessarily have to measure a particular point. Just get any point on your fabric, then from there you take your 3 inches and then you take it around like that, depending on how long you want your flounce to go. So cutting it out is just you tracing out the chalk or the 3 inches, the marks that you have marked out already. Just trace it out to cut, and I'm reaching for the point where I started. So I am going to cut 2 of these, one for the right leg and the other one for the left leg. Next is to cut the band. Remember I said we have 2 inches band to fix, so just measure your waist measurement and measurement of 2 inches. I folded 2 inches here. So if you find this tutorial interesting, leave that in the comment section. If you have a question, you can as well leave it in the comment section. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell as well. Welcome back. The first is to join the crotch area. I'm going to pick the 2 front and the 2 back. So we're going to join. Now my fabric is a stretchy fabric, so I am going to join all through. But if yours is not a stretch fabric, you are going to measure the zipper space. You leave the zipper space of 7 inches and join the rest. All right, but if you're good, that means you had zipper. But if you're using material like mine, You do not need to worry about that. Just join both the front and the back. So you pick the two front, pick the two back, and join the crotch area. Next is to open it up, place front and back like you have a skirt. Yes, that's how it will come out. So you're just going to join the sides. And remember I said I am using a stretch fabric, so I just need to join it straight down. If yours is not a stretch fabric, you can take the measurement for the waist and the hip before you continue to join the rest of your fabric all through to the base. Next is to join the side. So just join like we did on the first side. After joining, we're going to weave all the joint parts of our fabric. So after joining, this is what we have. The next thing to do is to fold. We're going to fold the base. Now this is to be attached to the side of my trouser. All you need to do is measure. I measured out 2 inches. You can increase yours. So you're going to place it this just this way, or we've joined the side, so you open it up and you're going to top stitch on your trouser on both sides. It's just to create a kind of design. It is actually not necessary if you don't want to add it to yours. But if you want to, I measured 2.5 inches and attach my paper stay. Yes, I used a paper stay. So just attach it and then you place on your trouser. Now this is how it looks like after joining that. So the flounce, now I already cut out, we have the fabric, so I cut out the lining as well as the stay. I ironed my paper stay on the fabric and as well on the lining. So I'm going to turn the base of the flare of the flounce is what I'm going to join with the lining, just to turn it inside out with my lining. Here is the band. All you need to do is place the joint part of your band and then you join to your trouser. we are done fixing the band. The next is to fix to attach our flounce. Now from the band, I took the measurement of 8 inches downward. That is where I want the flounce to start from, by the side. Then at the base, you can decide the measurements. If you want to follow my measurements, that is good. Here is the side, the top part of the side. So from the waist, I took 8 inches all the way, and I started joining from that 8 inches. So to the left hand side, that's backward, I took 3 inches. I started with 3 inches all the way to almost the base. I stopped around the knee area, that's the lower thigh measurement. So here now it's still my 3 inches. So the 3 inches is measured from the joining on the side. I took the 3 inches from the joining on the side. So measure the 3 inches backward, the 3 inches to the front as well. Now at the very base, the base is wide. So from the joining, I took 7 inches backward and 7 inches to the front. So that's from the joining, the side joining, 7 inches to the to the back fabric, and 7 inches to the front fabric. So just connect the points like that. Since we started our joining from the 8 inches, that's around the hip area, to the back first, then you take it to the front. So here's the 3 inches that I marked from the joining on the side. So you connect the 7 inches at the base with the 3 inches by the side, so you can trace the chalk and then join your flounce. Now whatever you have done to the right side of your pants, you do the same to the left side. Having done that, we are left with joining from the base all through to the crotch part, then to the other side of our trouser. But first, you have to make sure you're joining the crotch part, both the front and the back. Make sure it aligns before you continue your joining. Please, if you have questions from this tutorial, leave it at the comment section. I'll be there to answer your questions. And if this is your first time on this channel, kindly click the subscribe button for more tutorials, and you also need to turn on your notification bell in order to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Go ahead and make your pants. Use any fabric of your choice: Ankara, scuba material, poly material, velvet, flower material. Can go with silk. Just go on and make your Kharis Kreations so I can see your gorgeous pants. And I'll see you next class.